Valley, they said Friday, we don't do traffic. Let's wait till Monday. Ngong Road is looking good as well. And yeah, that's about the size of it. Magadi Road traffic, there's a little bit of that. It'll find its way onto Langata Road and fizzle out as well. Haile Selassie, yes, I keep telling you every day. Until January 15th, or 17th, it will be busy. So let's keep an eye out for that. And we'll talk on Spice FM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
Thank you very much, Eric, and it's good to be at the Situation Room.
Always a pleasure coming here. This is the most challenging interview panel in Kenya. You guys are very well informed, and as you can see, Charles today, very philosophical.
To be poor in this country is the greatest sin you can commit, not just from a legal perspective, but from life generally. It is very, very skewed.
We've just heard on the floor of Parliament, just most recently, a leader within the ODM saying that Sisi ni ng'ombe is a baba.
Yeah.
Which means that you're willing to be milked dry.
You cannot force me to believe. I will give way. If it's a land that I'm told to return to you, I will. Okay? Because the court has said so. But I'll continue saying, watu wamenirusha. That's all that I'm doing.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
How are you doing? Going into the final hour of The Situation Room this year. Because the next Situation Room is just going to be a blur, then January 2025. Imagine.
Then before you know it's January 2025, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that Judith Thiambo told me yesterday, by the way, you know, they're thinking, my relationship manager at Standard Chartered Bank, when she had bought me lunch at the Kempinski, and we had some very nice salmon.
Okay, you might actually be telling the truth though, because yesterday we were on a call and then you said, I'm Kempinski and I'm hearing some noise. So it's possible that you're speaking the truth. Carry on.
See, there's a connection.
I have not finished. Let's carry on.
You're eating this thing called salmon. That's okay. Carry on.
Haina mfupa. So, na haina kichwa.
Kwa ufupi ni steak.
Yeah.
Steak ya samaki.
So anyway, it's about the thinking of the extra money, and that's what you take to go and save and invest. Like, you know, you're never going to have extra money, yeah? You're never going to have this is the money that I had, and then this is the extra money, and now this extra money is what now is starting to say to build wealth. Nah. You've got to decide from the very beginning, this is the money that goes into my wealth building journey.
Yes.
Okay? Don't say you know you had some money and some spare cash. Pana, it's not the 2 bob that you put it in a tin at the supermarket.
No. And isn't that what they say? That it's not going to be easy. It's going to give you a little bit of a pinch, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the long run is what you're looking forward to. And that you can actually grow this wealth into something that's going to make a difference for you. You can decide you want to store it in Kenya shillings, that's okay. You want to store it in USD, even better. You want to do it in euro, or you want to do it in British pounds, that is okay. You're not quite sure where to start. And that's where the folks at Standard Chartered come in. Because they say, you know what? You don't know, we do. let's hold your hand and make sure you can actually start to create this wealth. You grow it and then you manage it into the future. It doesn't matter what you want to do. You want to invest, you want school fees for children at the best schools in the world, whatever it is that you want to do. But you got to start. And how do you start? Send an email to wealth.kenya@sc.com. Somebody's on the other end of that email. They're going to give you a call. You're going to sit down. You get to the place where you'll be eating salmon at Kempinski.
Yeah, because I'm at that point of building wealth. City, who's at the point of now managing his wealth. They had to take him to the bank itself.
Come and see where these
the
people
vault.
actually show
Here's
them
your
the
money,
cash.
right? So this is what we're going to do to manage your money. They had to show him the money. See me.
They're showing you the salmon.
You need to stop being manual. It's not as though in that vault there's a corner they say that's where City's money is. There's no.
Isn't that what they showed you?
What did they show you?
What did they
They
show
don't
you?
want to tell us. So we understand. People who are wealthy also.
By the way, folks, I forgive you.
We know nothing about
You
wealth.
don't understand it. Clearly, it's not something that you can see. It is too much. We don't know. Show me in a vault. Wealth.kenya@sc.com.
Yes. Our Health Friday conversation today is going to go back into what we've decided let's do a couple of weeks now. And this is looking at our young people, our young adults, and what they're going through, our young children at adolescent age and what they're going through. Is there a mental health issue with our young Kenyans? Breaking the stigma, unpacking the truth about adolescent mental health. We're joined by a psychologist, a TEDx speaker, an adolescent mental health consultant. Her name is Bini Brambat Sharma. Good morning, Bini.
Good morning.
How
Thank
are
you
you?
so much. I'm good. Thank you very much.
Well, you sound good.
Thanks.
Ndo?
Yes.
Does she look good?
I'm telling
Or
you.
what?
I've seen many a sari in my life. However, resplendent is the word. That I can't think of another word today.
Thank you. Thank you very,
very
much.
nice.
Thank you. I think I'm going to get one for you and help you drape it. And teach you to drape it, rather.
It's 10 o'clock. Can we go?
Haraka, haraka.
Let's go.
Yes. Do they sell sari at Woolworths?
You don't worry. That leave it to me.
You guys, I'm sorry. I don't know where people are going to live because they said they're going to buy the world for me.
Someday you'll see her in a sari.
Yes, but why are you saying sorry?
As I'm sorry for you.
No, it is. She started the offer with you. What makes you think we will not get offers of saris as well?
You want to wear sari?
You know, men also wear it. You'd be surprised at how well they carry it. Yeah, today we are talking about a very different time.
And you should see my legs.
See, it's covered, that's the best part.
Before we go south.
Anyway, Bini, City will tell you about what they are doing at Woolworths, right? Now until Monday.
Every time you think of value, you think of something that makes your heart happy. It doesn't have to be something material. But in this instance, we're talking about something material. Woolworths is saying, look, up until the 2nd of December, if you come to any of our outlets, if you choose 3 items, you only pay for 2. 1 will be free.
Wow.
Yes. Let me repeat. If you choose 3 items, then you only need to pay for 2, 1 will be free. Now, whether it is for yourself, whether it is for your loved ones, whether it is for your friend, but you need to go to Woolworths to see the large variety of what they have on offer to be able to make that decision properly. It's not complicated. Up to the 2nd of December. Now, please, 2nd of December, not 2nd of January, December.
Not 2nd December.
Not 2nd December, so that you go on the 25th and say, I am here, Woolworths. And you ask, why? You said, I said, hey, that thing ended on the 2nd of December. Yes.
Okay. Then now, please give her the day's proverb.
Yes, our proverbs for the whole of this week have been from the kingdom of Eswatini, formerly known as Swaziland, a landlocked country. I'm telling you, you can't get more landlocked than Eswatini.
Surrounded by another.
Yes, apart from Mozambique in the northwest, it is surrounded by South Africa.
Do they have a lake?
They do.
They have a lake?
They do.
Okay.
They do.
At least they have a water body.
No, they do have a water body.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay.
They also have people.
Wow.
A runaway monk never speaks well of his monastery.
A runaway monk never speaks well of his monastery.
Yes.
Benny, what do you think this proverb is saying?
it's probably saying that if he has to run away, that means he probably didn't have good experiences. And so probably he's carrying that to share with whoever he speaks to.
You know what I say? A runaway monk is probably telling the truth.
Yeah, it's bad in there, guys.
If you have got your child in there, go get them out.
But it also speaks of expectations. What did they expect? Clearly the expectations were not met.
That's true. Or what's expected of a monk? To be pious.
Yes.
And, calm in nature.
Yes.
So it's rare that you would come up with a terrible situation. But if you've come and you've said that things are bad, that if you've had to run away, you've probably run away from fear or something.
Yes, a monastery is not meant for activists.
Maybe you're expected to go in there and just chill.
Chill, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
And then you get into the monastery and you're waking up at 3 a.m. Dong, dong, get up.
Sing, pray.
And talk little.
Silence, yeah.
Yes,
So what do you do, Bini?
Well, that's a great question. Let's start with, I'm on a mission to create awareness that mental health equals brain health. And more so in the world of adolescents and parents. So my day-to-day life is one-on-one sessions with 9 to 19-year-olds and sometimes youth, one-on-one sessions with parents. And I also hold group sessions, empowering teenagers to build life essential skills. I'm a speaker and I do a lot of speaking engagements, like sometimes being invited to a place like this. What I am seeing in the world today is that, yes, mental health, there is still some conversation around here or there, but when it comes to the age group of 9 to 19-year-old, it's like completely forgotten. That cohort is completely forgotten. Whereas what I see is that the mental health in adolescents is deteriorating at the fastest speed. It's one of the fastest growing epidemic, that we are dealing with. So yeah, that's what I do for a living. I'm a licensed psychologist.
What did you observe? What made you get here?
This is interesting, very interesting, Eric. When Sion and Latifa were 13, I came across something that was a letter.
Our daughters.
Yeah, that's our daughters. It was written by someone of their age group, and it was just a letter. It was just like a poetry, but it was dark. It was sad. It was dark. And when my daughter came to me and said, "Mom, look, someone wrote this." And when I read, I was like, this cannot be possible for a 13-year-old. And so I started researching on it, and this is what I realized. Number one, let me rephrase it. Highest amount of suicide rates in adolescents. Highest amount of depression and panic attacks in adolescents. The stress levels of adolescents is by far the highest than even adults. And these are statistics not of one state or one country, it's global. And so that's when I thought, okay, are we even talking about it? Are we doing something about it? And that's where I think I started this journey of creating a program called Empower Teens Program, where the idea was to create a bridge between people just waking up and saying, okay, my child has a headache consistently, let's go to a therapist or a doctor. We don't do that. So my program became a space for children to come, have a safe space, speak, talk, and then we could pick those kids who are really going through self-harming tendencies or depression or panic attacks or anxiety, and then handhold them and involve the parents and speak about it, and then slowly take them towards the clinical way. So this is what I observed, and in the last about 8 years, it is getting there, it is bad, and especially post-COVID, it's worse.
Why? Why are we having... when I was 13, what are you thinking about? Finish your math homework, play some basketball. Your mom and dad are going to do this. Maybe later you realize that there was some trauma and then you find your way through it. But what am I saying is that at that age, 13, 14, 12, 11, you're not really concerned with things that would essentially bring you anxiety or panic attacks. Life is being taken care of for you.
Absolutely. Somebody else is paying the bills.
Somebody else is paying the bills. Somebody else is making sure that you basically need to show up. So what would be causing, and I'm not saying that it's the same situation now, But what would be causing this panic, this anxiety in 13, 14 adolescents? We're not even talking about well on in years of teenagers. What is it?
So it's interesting you ask that, because it's a very, very relevant question to what we are going to speak today. Did this happen to us when we were growing up? Yes. Did it reach this extent? No. And I'll tell you why. So, number one, let's go towards the neuroscience of a teenager's brain. Okay, so this part of your brain is your prefrontal cortex. That's the thinking part of the brain, the part of the brain that tells you not to drink and drive. You'd be in trouble. Okay, that's the part of the brain which helps you with all the executive decision making. Correct? Now take a guess, by what age is the thinking part of your brain completely developed to do its job?
Mid-20s.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't know that. 25. 25. So that means our children from between the age of 9 and all the way till mid-20s, their brains are functioning from the emotional part of the brain, the amygdala. And that's why everything that they experience is exaggerated. All their emotions are exaggerated. I think it's also an important point to realize that the God wanted us to sit with our feelings and emotions before we shifted the gear to our thinking minds. But what are we actually doing today? Anything that comes to your feelings or emotions, we kind of deflect it and we shift to the thinking mind. We are better than this. We are stronger than this. Correct? So that's number one, that they are meant to be exactly the way they are. Overreacting, acting out, acting in, having big, huge emotions. That's science. So that's number one, which was there even during our times. Okay. Number two is 9 to 19 is a classic time for identity formation. That's the time that they are going through identity crisis. So think about yourselves. When we were 12 or 13, we would look in the mirror and feel, my shoulders are too narrow, I'm too thin, my nose is wonky, I have acne all over my face, I'm not beautiful, I'm ugly, people hate me. And that's exactly what every teen is going through. Every teen, even the most popular, even the prefects, and even the kids who are not getting good grades. Everyone looks in the mirror and says, something is wrong with me, I'm not good enough, I'm ugly. Okay, so that's number two. Number three, there's hormonal changes going on. Okay, so they are going to go through this heavy emotional swings. And they really don't know what to do with all of this. They have no clue what to do with it. There's nobody guiding them through this stage. Now, if this was not enough, there is parental pressure, there is academic pressure to perform. And it's there. There is somewhere a narrative we've created that if we are not getting the grades, then we are not worthy of love. Or if we are not getting those grades or we are not performing, then we are not worthy of a place in the world. So it immediately comes to, if I do not get those grades, I'm going to be ostracized, rejected, failure. And now remember, the thinking mind is not there. So it's all emotions. And if all of this was not enough, there is this boom of screen time, the internet. This was non-existent during our times. Correct? So imagine when we were like probably 12 or 13 and there was a nickname for us, okay? Something silly. Probably 5 of our friends called us that. And it stayed in those 5 people. Today you get a label, it goes to almost 1,000 people. Cyberbullying is a real thing. People are putting things on Instagram, on Snapchat, on stuff which makes them feel they are even more lonelier than before. Our times, friendships were easy. We had nothing to do except just talk, connect, have this kind of attuned presence that we are having right now with each other. Our children, parents. So what is it taking away? It is taking away a deeper connection that we need as human beings. It's our fundamental need for survival to connect with each other, which we had it in abundance. At the end of the day, we went home, we changed, we went down and played. We finished playing, we came up, we helped with setting the dining table. We had conversations with our dad, with our mom, with our grandparents. The community was bigger. We used to live in bigger families. There was always somebody looking after us, even if it was not directly our parents. maybe an aunt or an uncle. The extended families did that. Correct? So that's number one. We had that in abundance. The children today don't. Both parents are working. Sometimes there are single parents. Number two, we had abundant sunshine and time in nature. That is what is fundamental for a developing brain. Very rarely people talk about this. When you get sunshine and time in nature, it actually builds healthy neural pathways to memorize better. Cognitive skills get better. You feel happier. Happy hormones are released. We used to get that in abundance. So although everything else was going, this is something that we had which balanced our brains to become a much more healthy and a resilient brain.
But Bini, they're still getting the same. They're in school all day. They're playing. There's game time, there's playtime, there's lunchtime. They're outside.
Is it really? The world that I see is that yes, they go to school, but it is constantly like from classroom to classroom, and they have, which also we had, they have about like 8 teachers which are more like bosses, and their job is to ensure that every boss is happy with themselves. They barely have playtime. What they have is a lot of structured time which the brain doesn't want. And even if they do have playtime, it is again built in a form of achievement and competition. If it's basketball or if it's sports. Sports is good, and I'm not taking that away. But they still need the absolute unstructured outdoor playtime which we had at the end of the day. And most importantly, every free moment they have, they are connected to screen of some sort or other. And that is creating devastating impact on their brain health.
Can you draw a line between, because in societies today, it doesn't matter whether you're looking at rural, urban, that there are children, there are those in that age bracket who are not connected to screens or whatever. Can we draw a line and say that those who then are not, psychologically then are at a healthier structure than those who are?
Absolutely. I have met families, and I have been one of those families where we have very strict screen time rules. And mind you, I'm going to share something which is going to literally make you feel, what? So are you ready for it?
Okay. Yes,
I'm saying,
I want to feel where.
Hold your heart.
Yes.
Hold your heart. I'm going to share something which people don't talk about. It doesn't come out in statistics. But today what I see knee deep working with adolescents is 10 out of 10 adolescents are getting anxiety and panic attacks. 100 out of 100 adolescents are getting it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that expression. The other day I was in a school speaking to about 400 12-year-olds, and I asked them to close their eyes and chin to chest. And I said, raise your hand if in the last 2 months you felt anxiety and you've had a panic attack. Every hand in the room has gone up. It's on my socials.
Understand what
they do.
12-year-olds,
yes, they write to me. Trust me, they do. You'd be surprised what 12-year-olds today know.
You know, Bini, these kids nowadays, they have different definitions of things. What is their definition of anxiety?
Like a 12-year-old say, I'm so stressed.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. See, their understanding of anxiety is feeling so scared that it stops you from doing your day-to-day activities. Your heartbeat goes at a different level. Your hands are shaking. Their knees are shaking. Let me tell you, you would have not known this. Let me take a bigger strand. This is anxiety. Notice this in your teenagers. This, I'm shaking my leg constantly. That's anxiety. Notice that in adults. This
biting their tongue,
is anxiety.
Fingernails.
And we had it.
Yeah.
We had it. The difference is, and this is where it gets really interesting. The difference is this generation is okay labeling it. We experienced it, we just don't want to label it.
We didn't know. We thought it's just normal.
Correct.
It's like breathing. At some point you're going to feel something.
Actually, you had an experience that no one explained to you.
Yeah.
Correct. Because the knowledge wasn't available then.
So your suffering was actually even more than you imagined.
Correct. Thank you.
And then you grew up with it. And as an adult, you probably still have the same anxieties you had when you were an adolescent.
We just don't know that those are
Yes, and they influence very many things you do in adulthood.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And untapped anxiety and untapped extreme stress or a chronic stress is what results in depression, and sometimes this is what results in addictive behaviors.
It's also what results in the violence that you sometimes see when somebody is so tightly wound up and they can't understand what it is that has wound them up. And so every reaction they have to anything that is uncomfortable just piles up on it, and then they explode.
And you said it so well, the word violence. I'm going to ask a question here, and it's going to be interesting to know what you think. Tell me, what is the core emotion that leads to violence? And I'll just give you an idea of what emotions. I'm looking at overwhelm, abandonment, rejection, sad, lonely, angry. These are just the amount of emotions I'm throwing, but it's not none of these.
Fear.
Interesting, no. The core emotion, and I can guarantee you, anyone who has been violent would have felt a lot of this emotion.
And what accompanies it is a sense of helplessness, which you don't even acknowledge.
Absolutely.
But it actually envelopes you, and you don't know what to do, so you lash out.
You lash out.
So it's what? Helplessness?
It's humiliation.
Yes.
So imagine now children, how are they humiliated in front of adults, in front of fellow mates, in a classroom, a teacher doing that, an adult doing that, calling them out. And to a child, it's a core feeling of shame. So if you look at any violence that happens in the world and you look back at their stories, it does come down to someone suppressed them. Someone made them feel a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, and humiliated them. And that suppressed energy turns into anger, which then turns into violence.
And when they get older and somebody ignites that very, very, very emotion, again, they will lash out. But now they're adults. So the lashing out is far more violent, and the consequences are more dire.
Correct.
No, guys, this one, it's less now than it was before.
What is less exactly?
This lashing out, no, the lashing out, the humiliation.
No.
In school, when you were beaten in front of it, everybody who got below 10 come in front of the classroom. Everybody, did you get this one wrong? Talk up, the teacher calling you names, and they could call you names. Your own parents, sometimes their kids were called names by their own parents.
Let's backtrack it and talk about, say, value systems that you have, and they can be generational.
Yeah.
But they elicit the same responses. For instance, most of us, when we were in primary school, walked to school. Throughout, you walked. And in walking, you walked with people who are your neighbors, people who are your companions, and your time to chat, divert, walk.
Yes.
Walk. When you say that, sorry to interrupt, but when you said that, you said it because, yes, we were humiliated, but when we are walking, that energy is released. When you're talking with people, that energy, we had natural therapy. Because imagine at 13, when somebody did that and you were humiliated, you come out, you'll at least have 3 or 4 who'll put a hand on your shoulder. Then on the way back, you're talking to your friend and you're really calling out that teacher. It's therapy, it's talk therapy. You're doing that and you're letting it all out.
So now it's happening in the school bus. 3 hours in traffic.
It doesn't. You know what's happening in the school bus? This.
What?
Tell me.
Screen time.
Screen time. That is what is happening. The moment you find me a teenager, he has a moment free and he's not going to look for a screen. You find me one teenager.
Who's taking their
Almost everybody.
Phones are allowed in schools.
Yeah. I think in Australia, I recently read that yes, they are trying to now ban the phones from school, but it's not completely.
Then maybe then we can even argue. Then the other side is that when this kid is on the screen and they're on TikTok, they're laughing, they're finding the funny videos and memes, and it's humor. Humor is the best.
That's true. What we're referring to here is a human contact.
Human connection.
Believe me, there's nothing to compare it with. You can't compare it with anything
You
else.
can never. In fact, it's called emotional numbing.
Yes.
Everything that we do on screen is called we feel more disconnected than ever. Have you ever start noticing what happens to your body when you're constantly scrolling? If you notice people who are constantly scrolling and are on phone or some kind of screen, you will also see a lot of anxiety and anger tantrums in them. That's what it does. Because, okay, now I'll go a little bit more scientific here. So stay with me. Imagine our brain and our neural pathways as lemon. Okay? A slice of lemon. So every time we do something which is natural, like being out in sunlight, a little bit of lemon is squeezed. That's our happy hormone. Okay, dopamine. Little bit, a drop of dopamine. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Small things like having family times, dopamine, or drip of dopamine. Okay. Now, when you're on your phone for anything more than 20 minutes constantly, your entire lemon is squeezed. All your dopamine is dumped in that one slot. What happens after that? Your brain doesn't have the capacity to now recreate or share more dopamine. So what do you think will happen? They will go through worse syndrome of like not being able to feel happy. So what would they do? They'll go back to the phone. So it's a dance between your happy hormones and what you don't get, and your brain is not able to produce that. It requires a drip of dopamine, not a dump of dopamine.
Okay. Let's take a break. 22 to 10. We're having a conversation about unpacking the truth about adolescent mental health. Bini Sharma is a psychologist. She's an adolescent mental health consultant, and she's also a TEDx speaker. Keep it here. We'll be back shortly.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Talking about, so I was asking during the break, are we saying that our children now are being brought up completely different from children previously? Of course, in every generation, there's going to be something that is, distracting or different. This one's, there's school, there's social media. Before that, there was school, there were books. Then traditionally, there were just kids get up, play, participate in chores, get back home in the evening, sit with your uncles by the fireplace or your aunties, participate in chores, repeat tomorrow. Then there was school. Wake up, get into a structured thing that takes you into a school and brings you back home. And then you're still participating in chores. Now there's get up, go to school, come back, spend time on the screen, do your homework on a screen, engage with school on a screen. But it's life, Bini. I mean, it's life.
It is life. And if we were living it fully, I have no problem with it. If this kind of life is making us lose our adolescence to suicides and death and mental health conditions, then it's something that we need to talk about. And you asked me that, are we doing something different? Now, this is where it gets interesting. Honestly, I wish we did something different. We are not doing anything different, but we are trying to raise our children exactly the same way our parents raised us. And I'm not saying that they did anything wrong. They did perfect. They did well in their times. But then the times have changed. Number one, it's not the same template anymore. Number two. Number three, our children are not getting the sunshine and the outdoor unstructured playtime, which is good for their brain. Number four, they are not getting connection, which is human connection, as families used to sit together, and presence from their parents. On the contrary, parents are also going through the same overwhelm of screen time. So what is happening is, yes, times have changed, where I had a mom who was more present. Dad, even though he was a provider, was still more present. But the children of today are getting parents who are not present. And I'm not in no way judging the parents, but the times are like this, that we also are constantly on screens. So what I would really ask parents is to probably, not much, but 20 minutes of attuned presence. And I'm again saying attuned presence is not just being there but not being there. Attuned presence means I'm with you and I'm listening, like we all are having right now. Because our brain literally gets a high on shared experiences. So when a child is talking to a parent and the parent is like, oh really, that happened, tell me more. Their brain wave are on the same length, which gives us shared experiences, which releases happy hormones, which makes us feel like we belong in the world. All I expect parents and us to do is 20 minutes of attuned connection and time with a child. And I promise you, a week of that, and you'll see a very different teenager in your house in terms of behaviors.
Do they know that that's what they lack? Or do they know that they're lacking something which makes them behave differently?
Okay. If I were to speak my truth, no. They have no clue. absolutely no clue. All parents feel that they are doing absolutely a right thing in terms of parenting. And why not? Because parenting is, we believe nothing that is taught, that's something that comes in us. But what if I told you that the new age parenting is totally different than what our parents did? And so when they come to me sometimes, or when conversations happen, the focus is them, their behavior. But what if I tell them that everything that you're seeing in them is actually a reflection of you? You've got to change the way you talk. You've got to change your environment. You've got to give them more time. You've got to be more patient. And most importantly, you cannot compare them. And our parents always compared us. So that is just a template. We are just following through that. This comparison kills personality, makes you feel even more isolated.
You know what is interesting is, if you think of parenting, parents are always trying to prepare their children for the world in which they live in. But do we actually understand that perhaps we also need to prepare our children for the world that they expect to live in now as adults?
Correct.
Because to do that, we need to understand the world that the children are living in, because we tend to think that they live in the world we live in, and often that is not entirely true. And the future that we speak of is a future that we actually probably have very little knowledge of.
We have no clue about the future.
Or no connection whatsoever.
Correct.
So our best efforts sometimes don't cut it. But there's something about the traditional way people were brought up. It was a shared responsibility because you spent a lot of time in the company of other children.
Absolutely.
And then you also went to other families. So
Absolutely.
it was a process of socializing and understanding. You could see the differences that people have in their families. But it was balanced. There are things that would be set right just in the process of socializing. So you didn't need the parent to tell you. You would see it for yourself, you realize, maybe
Absolutely.
this is, yes.
Yeah.
But if you look at the focus on the nuclear family, that sometimes deprives children of that association that they have, or of the way we socialize, where we go to establishments where instead of visiting somebody in their home, you meet in a restaurant and just the two of you.
Absolutely.
And it's modern.
Yeah.
And we fail to understand that the people whom we are copying, the people whose lives and socialization processes we are imitating, have made their lives a fairly decent disaster when it comes to the way human beings just relate to each other.
Totally.
So, in essence, it's a good thing because we can see where we're headed.
Absolutely.
You abandon something that is actually useful to you and is helpful, and you embrace something whose consequences will actually work against you.
It will. And what one thing we kind of don't talk about enough is that anything that is suppressed, any conversation that is not brought to the table, becomes an energy in your body. It is something that you're holding in your body. Now, science has proven that almost all your physical ailments come from stressors, from suppressed emotions. So that means everything, and I'm talking about heart attacks, cancer, asthma, everything comes from unprocessed emotions. Yeah.
And also, the one thing that does the greatest damage to your immune system are stresses.
Absolutely. And so when you say stresses, what is stress? It's basically a situation that we feel is out of our control.
Okay.
Correct? Now think about children. In their life, in the way they look at it, there's nothing in their control. The schools they go to is not mostly their choice. They're already put into it. The siblings they have, not their choice. The uncle and aunts they have, not their choice.
What they
the
eat.
teachers, what they eat. The teachers, the choice of language, subjects that they take, most often than not, is indoctrinated. To pick. And if you're taking math, then you are a smart one. So a lot of times they feel that the world that they live in is not in their control, which creates a lot of overwhelm and pressure and stress, which then lowers down their immune system. And of course, brain health.
And you see the expectations that children born in this generation have. Because of the influences that create these expectations, that system gets overloaded very, very quickly. Because you are interacting with things that your brain actually hasn't matured to cope with.
Absolutely.
And yet, they're there.
They're there.
And you're having to deal with them.
So how do you diffuse that? Because I also imagine, I mean, come on. These things...
Please,
slowly.
take a deep breath.
These things happened when we were younger. My parents did not ask my permission which school they wanted us to go to. We went. My mother insisted, okay, we go to this school because it's going to make you whatever. If she's cooking pounded yam and egusi soup that day, my friend, that is what you're going to eat. Yeah. If she says you're not going to Hannah's house, you're not going. If they say that you're going to have to do what, you will do what they say.
Yes.
So whether you feel that, I'm trying to imagine telling Engineer Cole that I'm feeling stressed because they made me, and then he would have a conversation and sit down and say, okay, well, do I understand?
How much of the world outside your parents' home did you know and understand? And compare that with your children, right?
Exactly. So now what I'm saying is, what we are saying today, did parents have a chance then to sit down with you and say, okay, I understand that you're going through this particular stress? There was no room for anything like that.
Absolutely.
So what I'm saying is, how did
we die?
My brother, thank you. As you see me now, am I not okay? Am I not okay?
Should I say something that you would probably not call me again?
Yes, please say something.
I disagree. I don't think so.
So my question, you don't think I'm okay?
No, not you. I'm sorry. I feel that I don't think so that we turned out okay.
Okay.
And I think that's one thing that we need to acknowledge. And I'll tell you why. The amount of... These are the 5 things which every family is going through it. Okay, let's call it out. Either each of us are going through COVID or have had deaths, or we have a cancer in the family, or we have an addiction in the family. And almost everything is then a trauma response. So no, we didn't turn out okay. We are having heart attacks. 40 to 50-year-olds are dying. Our parents are outliving us. Really, are we doing okay? Let's look at the statistics. Let's look at our families. Let's look at our extended families. We are not.
So let's talk about today now.
So we didn't turn out okay.
So in fact,
we are work in progress.
Just
we are work in progress.
To tell me, do you have problems? Now let's get you some psychotherapy. So how do you diffuse that situation, looking at a 14, 13-year-old and say, okay, because it's almost as if we're saying our radar has to be up all the time. And say,
absolutely.
Okay, is there something going on here?
Yeah.
We need to sit down and have a conversation.
See, I'll go back to what we got. I'll go back to the fact that at least most often than not, because of the way our world was, we got a sense of belonging. We fit in. That's our fundamental need as human beings. We are social beings. We'll die without each other. We will die without each other, right? So the reality is our children are not getting a sense of fitting in. So yeah, maybe our mothers didn't say, oh, are you stressed about something? But our mothers were present. Our mothers were having conversations. We at least had 20 sentences at the end of the day. Do we have even 5 sentences with our children these days? That's what I'm talking about. It is the connection. It's the conversation. It need not be we prep for it. Just a conversation. If we are doing laundry, are we talking? Hey, tell me what was exciting today? Or are we like, did you do this? Did you finish your homework? It's time to bed. You're being too much on your phone. Go to bed. Those are the conversations we have. Are we going deeper? Are we peeling layers? Are we having dining table conversations which make you think, aha, I never thought of that? Or are we having dining table conversations where, yeah, I don't like peas. Oh, but that's what it is you have to eat. A reality. This is a reality.
Good for you, eat it.
Yeah.
So when you have these sessions with these 9 to 19s, what do you tell them, or what do they tell you?
So this is now where it
happens?
it gets interesting. Number one, I give them a safe space to just be, share, rant, cry.
We listen,
release,
and
just
judge.
Yeah. And so when they do that, I have one of a very different kind of a policy that with children, I do not work with children whose parents are not ready to commit with time. So most of the work sometimes is of parents. And the only way your child coming to me once a week for 1 hour is going to shift anything in the way he thinks or believes is if the parents also change something in their environment. So when I see a child every week, and then after every 5 sessions, I see parents, sometimes just the dad, sometimes just the mom, sometimes addiction shows up, sometimes infidelity shows up, sometimes divorce shows up. it is then our job together as a family to have this conversation so that we can be going through tough times, and it's okay to not be okay, but we need to talk about it. We need to learn to be vulnerable. So if I'm teaching a child to be vulnerable, but if the dad is shutting them out, then I need to work with the dad and probably explain to him how important hugs are. Now, this is a dad, mind you, who never got a hug.
Yeah.
So he's going to look at me and say, are you kidding me? And then I have to walk him through the whole thing.
Or you hear things like, don't make these young boys into sissies.
Correct, correct. But trust me, the dads that I have worked with, they come there to know that by doing this, if something is going to change in the way my child is going to turn up as a human being, it is worth it. Right? So it's a tough job. I'm not saying everyone can go through this, but with a child, then of course I teach them a lot of self-awareness work, helping them understand what they can control, first of all, and secondly, helping them realize the power of breath.
Are we saying that they don't get this anywhere? They don't get this at school? They don't get this at the religious organizations when they go to church, when they go to mosque, when they go to temples? They don't get this?
They may get it, but not in the way where someone allows them the freedom of speech, exactly how they feel and think, without judging, shaming and blaming them.
You know, this discussion has moved from the adolescents to the parents.
It always is mixed. It's always a sync. It's enmeshed.
Yeah, because the parents have problems. It's not just you. We all do.
Yeah.
And since I belong to an older generation, you see, imagine parents in this country who were working just immediate post-independence. And look at what they were dealing with. The colonialist is still there. You've entered a system that nothing prepared you for. Not really. And so the best thing to do, since it's their system, you want to ape it and copy it. And when you look back, you realize, man, there must have been a serious struggle.
And it was.
Yes. Because there's a traditional way of doing things. Okay. You see, what for me marked it in my mind, I was reflecting on it, was if you had a parent who worked in the government, one of the things they inherited was a house. Because the person who had that position before had a big house. Now, this is somebody who comes from a village where houses are hut. Then you've given them 3 bedrooms and got on so many other rooms. You know there's a problem here. How do you fill this room? So you suddenly find that most of our homes were full of relatives. So you grow up believing that it is important for a house to be full of people.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's our fundamental need as human beings.
Yes.
And if I may add here, this is very interesting. You took us to a very different thread of conversation, that during our parents' time, food, shelter and clothing was our fundamental need.
It was a need.
Yeah, we couldn't survive because those days financially we were not as abundant as today we are. Correct? So if you look at it, what they were doing was coming from a base of survival. All right?
Yes.
What we are doing now, this is where it gets interesting. At some point of time, we need to realize that a lot of us, probably a higher percentage, if I could say that right now, in this context, we know that the wealth that where we are, okay, after this, whatever income that we earn is not going to have a direct impact on our happiness. All right? And so we forget that, and we are still running the same way that our parents used to run, from the space of lack. Whereas today what we require is more of an emotional need being fulfilled, of a deeper connection being fulfilled, rather than food, shelter, clothing. Because we have 2 cars, we have 2 houses, we have children, we have families, we have a lot of money. But do we have a sense of connection? Do we have someone who we can talk to and they would not interrupt and say, wow, that's what you're going through? We don't. So we have to dial back down and go to our ancestor times and really learn to connect more now with each other.
And when we do that, you actually pass it on to your children, because
Correct.
They can see it.
Precisely. We learn more by what we see than what it is that we are told.
Exactly. That's how children learn. They mirror. If the way the parents talk to each other is what they learn.
People are untrustworthy nowadays, Binny. Those days you trusted them because there was a system that put them in check.
Correct.
It's your cousin, it's your extended cousin. Nowadays it's a friend. Say something tomorrow, everybody in the neighborhood knows.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
My husband comes home at 3 a.m. Yes. Everybody knows.
You don't. True.
Binny, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for this conversation. It's been good, and it's been a very interesting one. Children, are at home, we're wondering what do we do with these things for 2 months. These are the kind of things that we do.
Yeah.
Right? Have them have conversations. Have them have those moments and spend time with them.
Yeah, in fact, if I could just end it with this, that apart from 20 minutes of one-on-one time and deeper conversations, ensure that all of you follow a screen time regimen. No phones during meal times. Every face-to-face conversation, no phones. So if I'm talking with you, my phone is not there.
Away.
And that's how it needs to be between parents, between husband and wife. Or you could always excuse and say, hey, I just need to respond to this email. Let me finish that and I'll come back. That's still communicating.
Okay.
Correct? So screen time management and a lot of deep conversations, 20 minutes a day, more than enough. And then they'd know. Give them a lot of boredom, please. Let them be bored, because when you're bored, that's where creativity comes from.
Creativity kicks in.
Yeah.
Beanie Sharma is a psychologist, TEDx speaker, adolescent mental health consultant. We've been talking about adolescent mental health. Today is Friday, right?
Well done.
No, today's Friday.
Okay,
Brother.
good.
Yes.
So today is Friday. It's the final Friday of 2024. Come Monday, you have this blur of a month, and then 2025 comes in.
Yeah.
So enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the final weekend of 2024. Make it very, very good and fruitful and memorable. It's 10 a.m. Goodbye.